She was a loyal servant, a trusted confidante, and a vital witness to the lives of one of history's most famous literary families. Martha Brown's decade-long service to the Brontes was filled with hardship, devotion and resilience. From her time as a young maid at the Haworth Parsonage to the care during their final days, Martha's story shines a light on the strength and the spirit of a working-class woman who lived through love, loss and literary genius. But who was Martha Brown? What made her so invaluable to the Brontes, and how did her life shape the legacy? In this video, we're going to uncover the remarkable story of the Brontes' tough yet kind-hearted maid. Martha Brown was born in 1828 to John and Mary Brown in Haworth, West Yorkshire. Her father, John, the sexton at St Michael and All Angels Church, worked closely with the Brontes, forging a connection that would define Martha's life. At just 13 years old in 1841, Martha began working as a servant at the parsonage alongside Tabby Aykroyd, affectionately known as Tabby. Tabby was the family's long-serving housekeeper, who was about 70 years old at the time. Tabby had been with the Bronte family since 1824, bringing a wealth of experience to the household. Despite her youth, Martha quickly proved herself indispensable, showing intelligence and capability, uncommon for her age. Her ability to read and write set her apart, suggesting a bright mind and a strong will, qualities that would have become defining features of her character. Martha and Tabby shared their small servant's bedroom at the parsonage, a modest space that reflected their humble yet vital role in the Bronte household. Despite the difference in their age, Tabby being nearly 50 years older than Martha, the two women fostered a close and harmonious working relationship. As Tabby aged and her health declined, Martha took on an increasing share of the household duties, demonstrating her growing capability and reliability. The transition from Tabby's leadership to Martha's greater responsibilities was seamless, reflecting the mutual respect and trust between them. Their work as servants at the parsonage involved an array of demanding daily tasks. Cleaning the house was a never-ending job, given the soot and the dirt brought in from Haworth's coal-fire and muddy, we say muddy, but we all know what that meant, streets. Martha and Tabby would scrub the stone floors, dust the furniture and ensure the rooms were kept in order, a considerable task in a house occupied by an elderly clergyman, his energetic son and his 3 creative daughters, with desks strewn with papers and books. Cooking was another essential duty. They prepared hearty, simple meals for the family, relying on the limited resources available in a remote village like Haworth. Tabby was known for her traditional Yorkshire cooking, and it's likely Martha learned to prepare dishes such as meat pies, stews and Yorkshire puddings, and of course under the watchful eye of Tabby. Bread would have been baked regularly in the kitchen hearth, and we know with help from Emily. Laundry was perhaps the most gruelling task of all. Without modern conveniences, Martha and Tabby would boil up large pots, scrub the clothes and the linen by hand, and then rinse them before hanging them up to dry. The process was labour-intensive and time-consuming, especially during wet weather, which there was a lot of in Yorkshire, and then this would affect the drying laundry indoors, adding to a dampness in the house. In addition to these duties, they would tend to the personal needs of the Bronte family, and this could include mending clothes, helping a nearly blind Patrick, and of course running errands in the village. Despite the heavy workload, there is no evidence to suggest that Martha was intimidated by Tabby or the Bronte sisters. Because this was something I really thought about. Was a young Martha entering Tabby's domain nervous or worried? But I had a chat with my friends about it over a cup of tea, and we kind of came to the conclusion that Tabby would have seen Martha grow up from such a young age that Martha would almost see Tabby as some aunt and not just a scary old woman that worked across the road. So we don't think there would have been that awkwardness Martha knew straight away that she was there to help Tabby, and then she was in no way on an equal measure. Instead, she became an integral and trusted member of the household. Her relationship with the sisters, especially Charlotte, grew over time, and this dynamic speaks to the mutual respect within the family and Martha's indispensable role in maintaining the daily life of the parsonage, enabling the Brontes to focus on their literary pursuits. Through their shared duties and companionship, Tabby and Martha formed a partnership rooted in resilience and hard work. Together, they kept the parsonage running smoothly, providing the stability and the comfort that allowed the Brontes to create some of the most enduring works of English literature. Right, I think I have a slurp of tea before I get going. It's very hot because I've just made it, so. Nice. So the mug I've got today, I don't know if you can see that, the Night Watchman. Let me try and get it so you can see. There we go. It's an owl watching a mouse. Very nice. Nice drink as well. It's a bit hot though. Right, let's get on. Life at the parsonage was often overshadowed by illness, and Martha frequently found herself at the heart of these challenging times. Around the first anniversary of Bronte's death in 1849, both Martha and Tabby fell seriously ill. Tabby, already suffering from a lame leg and ulcers, needed extensive care, while Martha's condition became critical due to severe inflammation. During this difficult period, Martha's mother and sister came to help with the housework, allowing her time to recover. Against the odds, thank goodness, Martha regained her strength and continued her service. Illness returned in 1850, prompting Charlotte to write to Ellen Nussey about the string of misfortunes. She said, "Joe Taylor seems to bring a lot of illness with him into this house. I myself had a bad cold and a stubborn sore throat. Patrick was bronchitis, and Martha endures fevers and tic de la rue, a painful facial neuralgia. Only Tabby escaped unscathed." Apologies if I said that description wrong. I did look it up and practice beforehand, but you kind of all know what I'm like. They don't always come out right. I will put the words up here. In October 1851, Charlotte wrote again to Ellen, describing further health struggles. She said, "First Tabby's caught the influenza, which she then passed to Martha. Then Martha suffered 2 separate attacks of quinsy, a sort of ulcerated inflammation of the throat. And finally, Papa caught cold. So far, I keep pretty well and am thankful for it, for who else would nurse them all?" These accounts not only highlight Martha's resilience, but also the heavy physical and emotional burden she bore as part of the household. Whether caring for others or enduring her own illness, Martha remained steadfast in her duties, embodying the strength and the fortitude so valued by the Brontes. Martha's close relationship with the Brontes is evidenced in a touching moment from 1849. Following Anne Bronte's death, Martha wrote to Charlotte reassuring her that all was well at home while Charlotte remained at the coast. For a servant to write to an employer in such a personal way shows the deep trust and familiar bond between Martha and Charlotte, and her loyalty extended beyond her duties. In 1850, Charlotte's secret identity as the author of Jane Eyre and Shirley had been revealed, and Charlotte wrote to Ellen Nussey about the incident. "Martha came in yesterday, puffing and blowing, much excited. 'I've heard sich news,' she began. 'What about?' 'Please, ma'am, you've been and written 2 books, the grandest books that ever was seen. My father has heard it at Halifax.' Charlotte was mortified but couldn't stay angry. Martha's pride in her employer's achievements shines through, reflecting her admiration for Charlotte and her literary success. This is a sample of Martha Brown's writing in a letter she wrote to somebody in about 1878. Someone else has added at the bottom, Charlotte Bronte's servant died 1880. When Charlotte married Arthur Bell Nicholls in June 1854, Martha played an important role. Despite her dislike of Arthur, Emily did write to Ellen Nussey saying, "Martha hates him." She worked tirelessly to prepare the parsonage for the occasion. Martha gathered flowers from the village gardens to create a beautiful bouquet that decorated the house, ensuring the wedding was a memorable event. Martha's trusted status within the house is evidenced in a role as a witness to Charlotte's will, signed alongside Patrick Brontë. This level of involvement highlights the deep respect and trust the family placed in her. After Charlotte's death in 1855, Martha was central to the mourning process. She guided Ellen Nussey to see Charlotte's body and handed her a tray of evergreen and flowers to place around her friend. Ellen later recalled, "My first feeling was no, I cannot do it. Next, I was grateful to the maid for giving me the tender office. What made it impossible at first was the Russian recollection of the flowers I'd spread in her honour at her wedding breakfast and how she admired the disposal of the gathering brought by Martha from the village gardens." After Charlotte's death, Martha's health deteriorated due to the physical and the emotional toll of her labours. Unable to stay at the parsonage or return home, she was sent to Mrs. Dean Elm's house in Leeds, where she gradually recovered. In the years following, Martha accompanied Arthur Bell Nicholls to Ireland, but returned to Haworth within a few years, likely due to the homesickness. But by 1868, her decline in health led her to live with her sister Anne Binns in Saltaire. However, within a few years, Martha moved back to Haworth in the mid-1870s, where she lived alone in a small cottage until her death. Martha's life was entwined with the Brontes. Known for her Yorkshire accent, her famous sponge cakes, and her dedication to the family, she became a local celebrity in her own right. Through her loyalty and resilience, Martha not only supported the Brontes, but also became a lasting part of their remarkable story. Tabby Aykroyd. Excuse me. A painful facial neuralgia. Are you telling me I did all that and I didn't press record? Martha Brown's life was one of unwavering loyalties, hard work and deep connection to the Brontë family. From her early days as a young maid to her later years as the mainstay of the parsonage, she witnessed the highs and the lows of the Brontes' lives in a way few others could. But what do you think about her story? Do you feel Martha's contribution to the Brontes' legacy has been significantly recognised? How might the Brontes' lives have been different without her care and support? And what does Martha's story tell us about the lives of women like her in the 19th century? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. Thank you for watching this and all my videos. If you've enjoyed this one, please do the whole likey, subscribey thing, because it really does help me out and it lets YouTube know that we want to watch more Brontë content. Have a great weekend and I will see you all next Friday for more Brontë adventures. Take care. Bye.